Hi there. Today we got a text from our daughter and she's making vanishing oatmeal cookies. And so I thought Stephen really needed to share with you his experience of making vanishing oatmeal cookies.
They're Vanishing Oatmeal Raisin Cookies. Don't forget that. Don't forget the raisins. Well, I saw this little guy here. I don't know if it's William Penn or just one of his friends, but one day he was staring at me. Quaker Oats. I thought, wow. Then on the back side, there's a secret recipe called Vanishing Oatmeal Raisin Cookies. And man, that looked really cool. So I wrote down some of this. I'm going to read some of it. I'm going to share some of it with you. Vanishing Oatmeal Raisin Cookies, or what to do when the bottom falls out. Okay, there's the old-fashioned. I showed you this thing here. The secret recipe beckons you to give it a try. Okay, I give it a and then I give it a maybe so. Could I? Now, I've never made a cookie in my life. That's something for my daughter and my wife. They do that. Yet somehow this morning I found myself challenged to pull out the butter knife. And it seemed simple enough. I had all the ingredients except butter and vanilla and flour. And so off to the store I go, and alas, we find the vanilla extract high on a shelf next to the vanilla distract. That's the artificial one. And so we bought the vanilla, and thankfully we got all-purpose flour and not the self-rising. And we got some cubes of butter and came home, and we're on our way. Ready to go in less than 15 minutes. Step 2. Now that was step 1. Step 2. After heating the oven, which thank God, in the end I waited until I was done or I'd have burned the house down. That oven had been on an hour and a half. You're going to see why. Had I known it was such an effort, I would have gladly just bought some oatmeal raisin cookies rather than the ingredients. But that smiling Quaker on the box top, he was inviting me, and he seemed to say, go ahead, it's simple. Step number 2, beat together margarine and sugars until creamy. You notice they tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. So I'm to beat together margarine and sugar until creamy. Have you ever tried to mix 2 sticks of cold butter and 1½ cup of brown sugar until creamy with a fork? I mean, the recipe didn't tell you how, it tells you only what. So after 5 to 10 minutes of this stirring, I've only got lumpy brown stuff and a bent fork. Never mind, it's bound to get better. Let's go on to step 3. Add eggs and vanilla and beat well. Oh, I only just now noticed it was eggs, plural. I only used 1. This print nowadays, you need a microscope to decipher it. Well, at least we'll get some liquid in there to soften these hard blocks of brown sugar and butter. I thought, no, now it's just gooey, lumpy blocks of brown sugar. No problem. Just move on to step 4. It's got to get better, right? Add combined flour, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt, and mix well. Well, how in the world do you mix well? My fork is bent out of shape, and I'm getting to be a little bent out of shape myself. And at this point, after all, that flour mixture, I soon saw my bowl was too small because my cup was running over, so right onto the counter. So I got the biggest bowl I could find and dumped all the dry goo in there. Still, it's not mixing too well, so I'm reminded, let's go on to step 5. Never mind. It's got to get better, right? It's going to come together soon. Step 5, stir in oats and raisins. Mix well again. Oh, how? I don't know. Oh, joy. Now my bowl is really too full. So way up high in the cupboard, I see the solution, a huge crystal glass punch bowl. Now we're in business, only now do I see the fine print as I near the end of the instructions. it makes 4 dozen. I only wanted half a dozen. What am I, cooking for the block, the neighborhood? 4 dozen. Oh. So anyway, that's 48 cookies, you know. 4 dozen is 48 cookies. Never mind. Just mix well. What do these people use to mix well? It sure isn't a spoon and a fork. Only then did the picture come to mind of those big white machines with silver spinning blades that the lady, what's her name, Betty something, she used to, advertise, was it Crockett or Betty Crocker, yeah. Anyway, that's how you mix well, I think. That's right, that big white bowl with the silver blades that just spin around and turn real slow, and mix it all up. That's what they must have used. Electric spinning blade. A big white bowl. I remember licking those fingers when my grandma would make that sugar cookie, and that's what she used. Never mind. I said, I don't have a mixer like that. So what do? Well, never mind. Guess what? The blender. Yeah, the blender will work. So I've made smoothies before, and it seemed to mix well. So I fill the blender with this dry, lumpy, wet, soft goo, and I turn her on. What? The blades won't even turn. Is it plugged in? Yeah, it's plugged in. It won't even turn. So I put it on high speed liquefy, and it groans a pitiful turn or two. I said, man, this stuff is tough. I know what it needs. It needs some liquid to mix well. So I pour in milk until the blade can spin. And whoosh, off it goes, blowing brown mix all over the cabinets and all over me. No, I forgot to put the top on. Oh my. But at least it's working now. So after 5 or 6 blenderfuls, we really get it whipped to a pulp. And the raisins have disappeared. I can't even find a raisin. Is this what it means by vanishing raisin cookies? I don't know. Anyway, I don't recognize one raisin, and I put in about 100 of them. Oh my gosh. In fact, I don't recognize anything in its original state, but it is mixed well. So as I go to lift the last batch of the blender, guess what? I wondered why that plastic handle was spinning around by itself. and it cranked in a spiral, and guess what? Did you know that blenders can unscrew themselves on the bottom? I didn't know that. But a blender, it came unscrewed at the base. So I lift the handle to pour out the last gooey liquid batch, and lo and behold, the contents baptized the machine as I lift it off. There's a hole in the bottom of the blender. Now I've got oatmeal goo everywhere. And I'm licking all 10 fingers and trying to clean them. Oh well, at last we get the stuff in the bowl. But it's so liquefied it needs more oats and flour to dry it up. And besides, it's so small I can't even read this hardly. I had to get a magnifying glass. I give Grandma a spoonful of batter, and she says it's too sweet, between laughs. Okay, more flour. Oatmeal ought to fix that. More flour and oatmeal. So I have to open a new box, as this one is empty, so I got to go get a new box. Hey, did you know they make quick oats? And they also have old-fashioned whole oats? I didn't know that. The quick oats are called quick because they cook in 1 minute. And the others, they take a lot longer. So I noticed this after I poured a cup of the regular oats in there. No problem, just scoop them out and pour in the quick oats. So now we're ready to go. Or are we? I don't have a cookie sheet. And that becomes a whole new venture. So part 2. After 3 trips to the local restaurant, Supply, we finally settled on 2 small sheets, as the one big one was only 1.5 inches too long, and the door wouldn't close on the oven. Anyway, that's another $15 to add to the bill. We must be about 25 bucks now for a few of these oatmeal raisin cookies I could have bought. Anyway, alas, step 6, the final part, the fun part. Drop by rounded tablespoonfuls onto ungreased cookie sheets. Well, there's no way you're going to get 48 little cookies in the 2 small cookie sheets I got. So you guess what? I use a bigger spoon. Instead of 48, we'll get 24. So I put it on the cookie sheets. In fact, by now, we with a butter, 24 with the batter left over, which no one wants to lick anymore. And I'm tired of licking batter. In fact, no, we don't even want to eat a cookie. We're so full of dough. Hey, did you know why they say to use a tablespoon of dough? You know why they say a tablespoon? Well, as soon as you put it on, it starts spreading. And my cookies were all spreading. They were all touching one another. There was not even a space between them on the whole cookie sheet. Oh, wait, there's 2 more steps. Number 7, bake 10 to 12 minutes or until golden brown. Well, mine looked golden brown already. Oh, and guess what? You know that little aluminum seal back thing on the vanilla bottle? You open the vanilla bottle, it's got a little aluminum seal on the top, on the bottle. I don't know how it got in there, but anyway, we found it in the last mix when the bottom fell out as I was licking my fingers. There it was. That little metal thing. So no one got that in their cookie, but it did give me an idea for the next time for a surprise cookie. Anyway, number 8. Did I say next time? No. Number 8. Cool 1 minute on cookie sheet and remove to wire rack. You're going to cool it for 1 minute on a cookie sheet and put it on a wire rack. What's a wire rack? Seems like they'd fall through if you tried to balance them on some wires. Anyway, and where do you cool them for 1 minute? I thought, well, outdoors, of course. So we put them in the back patio, and I commenced a 1-hour cleanup operation. While I'm cleaning up, guess what? It begins to sprinkle outside. Oh my gosh. What's next? Does water hurt cookies cooling? Maybe it helps them. Probably so, but by then we're ready to eat. But no one was hungry for one. Never mind. I'll bag them in 2s or 3s and we'll let them go. Oh my. But they're all different sizes. How are you going to sell them? Somebody's going to feel they got cheated. One's small, one's big. I don't know how you sell these. Anyway, let's give them away for samples. Call them OK cookies or something. Say better than Starbucks. And only $1. That'll do it. Oh, by the way, I did throw in more raisins after the others vanished to at least qualify for the name, Vanishing Oatmeal Raisin Cookies. And when I was done, this guy was still smiling at me. So that's my story of the Vanishing Oatmeal Raisin Cookies.
And it really happened.
And it really happened.